Okay, so I'm gonna plant my flag here and say that Daybreak is the most underrated Netflix show ever created. Okay, so let's get into why. Okay, oh, by the way, if you're new here, hi, my name is Nathan. I talk about movies and games and just stuff. So let's talk about a TV show today. Okay, so what is Daybreak? Daybreak is a teen comedy show on Netflix about a bunch of teenagers who are the only ones left in an apocalypse. The show takes place in Glendale, California, and pretty much all the adults turned into like zombie things that are like weird and funny and stuff. But anyway, that's not the point. But anyway, the show has only one season, has 10 episodes, and was canceled. Probably due to COVID, I think. But either way, I don't think it would have gotten picked up for another season either way, because I've literally never heard a single solitary soul other than me mention it, to be honest. So, yeah. But I think it's a pretty cool show. And yeah, so pretty much the show follows a titular character, well, not the titular character, but a main character known as Josh Wheeler. And he is on a legendary romance quest to find his true love, Sam. So Sam went missing towards when the apocalypse happened, and so throughout the entire event course thing of the show, he's looking for her. So, yeah, I'm gonna give him maybe a light spoiler warning, maybe like a light one, because I know not a lot of people have seen this show. I don't want to spoil too much because I don't want to ruin it for you. And maybe, just maybe, if people start watching it, maybe we'll get a season 2. Oh, and I forgot to mention, it's also based on a comic, based on the same name. So, yeah. So, anyway, I'm just going to go in. This is just like an overall thought / review of it. So, I'm going to divvy it up by the things I liked, then the things I didn't like, then questions I have, and then unrelated stuff, and then overall thoughts. Okay, so let's get into it. So, something I really like is a lot of the cool characters, one of which is KJ. KJ is a character you're going to meet, and she's just so cool. But what I will say is, she was like, they kind of like hyped her up to be like, you know, oh, she's going to be so cool. She's going to play such a big role. And I thought, oh, they're focusing a lot on her. She's going to be an addition to the cast, or at least a prominent side character. No, she's only focused on for like an episode or two. And then they kind of like forget she exists until like the very, very end. And like a little bit before that. And I mean, like, she does not have a lot of lines at all. Like, if the episode is not centered around her, she's probably not going to speak, to be honest. Which is a disappointment because I thought she was a pretty rad character. The Witch. Let me talk about The Witch real fast. Y'all will see. I'm not going to spoil who The Witch is. Y'all will see. But, like, The Witch is such a fun character. Like, she is an absolute highlight of the show. Every time she's the main focus, that actress is spitting pure gold. Like, once she gets into her backstory and you get inside her head, it is just a wild ride. And she's a great actress. I don't know who plays her, but like, whoever does, props to you. All the props. I'll give you a fake arm and a fake leg. Like, props to you, because you did great. Like, it was so good. And then Turbo, who is one of our villains, who is introduced pretty quickly, so I don't think that's much of a spoiler. Turbo, he is such a complex villain. He has complex emotions, thoughts. He is not just like a maniacal for the sake of being a maniacal villain. He's not that, and I really enjoy that. He is somebody that, like, yeah, I wouldn't say you could root for him, but I love it when villains have a point of view that you can understand, where you're not necessarily like, yeah, right, good on you, mate. Why don't you keep doing bad stuff? Because you hurt and stuff. You're not like that with him, but you're like, I get where a lot of his issues come from, and I think that's interesting. Because one thing I will say about these characters is, I like that they're all flawed. And none of them are, like, not a singular character that I can think of is like horrible. Like, nobody is like, well, I would say some people are irredeemable, I guess. Sort of. Well, yeah, some of them are irredeemable. But I like that when it comes to, like, their character, their personality, who they are, it's not skewed one way or the other. Like, it can be skewed more, towards, like, hey, this person's, like, not great. But, like, I like that it's not, like, they're all awful. Like, everyone is flawed. Everyone has their good sides, their bad sides, and so on and so forth. And I really like that. And then there's Sam. Sam is a good character. I will say we don't see very much of her, which is interesting for somebody who, like, the main plot literally revolves around her existence. We don't see much of her, but she's real. The one episode where they do highlight her, she's a great and she's a complex character as well. And unfortunately is underutilized, because after, I'm not going to say anything. Never mind. I was going to say something and that was going to be a mid-to-late spoiler, and I'm not. You know. Yeah. Actually, her being alive is kind of a light spoiler, but I didn't figure she would be dead anyway, so, because I think that would be, like, horrible. But, like, that could have been a great way to end the first season. Find her dead body or whatever. That's dark. But, you know, I'm just spitting out ideas here, man. I don't know. Anyway, I really like, there's a special relationship between the witch and another character and Turbo. I'm gonna just say Redacted and the witch. Redacted and the witch, their relationship is so wholesome, and you will see it as it progresses through the show, and it is so sweet, and I really like it. And then Redacted and Turbo, they have an unexpected relationship, and it is so much fun, and I really enjoy it. And yeah, it's so good. So good. So good. Something that I will also say that I think I really like about the show is the comedy. The comedy is something that I really enjoyed, but it's also because I have a very sort of immature sense of humor, and if you are, like, over the age of probably, like, 17 to 18 to 20, you may not get the same amount of enjoyment in it that I did. You might not, you know, and that's fine, because this is, like, you know, obviously a teen drama, and if you're not a teen, you might just not subscribe to that sort of humor that it has on the show, because it's not, like, sophisticated humor that's, like, overly complex and all that. It's not like that, but I still think it's great. So, you know, a good example of a joke is, like, they make an Overwatch joke, and they're like, oh yeah, nope, never mind, can't say the joke because it's a big spoiler. It's a big spoiler. Never mind. Another thing that I really liked is the killer soundtrack. This soundtrack had bangers on top of bangers on top of bangers on top of more bangers, and when you just thought there couldn't be enough bangers, they drop another banger on you. Like it's so good. Like, there was a couple songs from the soundtrack that I had to add to the Spotify. You know, I had to add it to the mixtape, the online mixtape, and it was a vibe. And so good, so good. I wanted to highlight, this is kind of unrelated to the plot, but I really like the filtering they used. Like, the entirety of the show, for I think the flashbacks maybe, is all tinted with, like, this orange color. Like, there's an orange filter that, like, if you've seen Top Gun, you kind of know what I'm talking about with that orange sky filter. Well, no, it does that thing that Top Gun does where, like, either the sky will be, like, orange fading to blue, or, like, it'll be, like, orange tinted, and then the sky is, like, really saturated. And if you know me, love me some saturation. Love saturation. Like, can't get enough of saturation. Honestly, it's kind of a problem, but, you know, it's whatever. But anyway, so good. And then the accuracy. I think the accuracy, which, hear me out. Before you are like, this didn't even happen. Yeah, I know. But, like, I think this is, like, very realistic in the sense of how they portray teenagers to be, because, like, let's be real. I don't think all of us would jump to killing each other straight out the gate if the world ended. But honestly, with the way we are, we're bloodthirsty animals, man. You know, we'd get there eventually. We'd get there eventually. Oh, what's this? never mind. That's a message that I got too late about pizza. Anyway, I will go ahead and stake my claim here as well and say that episodes 5 and 6 were my favorite episodes of the series. Okay, I wish this person would stop messaging me. Anyway, I should have put it on silent, but I'm unprofessional, so it's fine. But anyway, I will say those episodes were so much fun to watch. Like, just back to back. I will say this. The show, upon first watching it, this is like unrelated, which I should have held on to the end, but I'm not, because organized chaos, you know? Upon first watching it, because I tried to watch this initially in, like, I think it was 9th grade when I first got Netflix, either 9th or 10th grade. I'm now graduated from high school, so this was like 4 to 5 years ago. Was it? How long ago was 2019? How many years ago was that? Hold on. How many years ago was 2019? I know, I'm bad at math, and I can't be bothered. It's 3 years ago. Okay, so that was 3 years ago. Anyway, so it would have been like my 10th grade year. I can do math. I just don't feel like using my brain right now, okay? Okay. Anyway, I didn't like it, like, at all. Like, I wasn't feeling it. I got through the first episode, and I wasn't vibing with it. And I even disliked it. Like, I hit the dislike button on Netflix. But, like, coming back to it, I really enjoyed it. Like, I did not expect to enjoy it as much as I did. I will say there are some reveals that are towards the end of the season. And they're so good and so unexpected. And that's all I'm going to say on that. I'm not going to elaborate on any of that, just so you don't get any spoily bits. You know, I will also say that, like, the show gets better as it progresses. The show gets better as it progresses. Like, it doesn't start off rough or anything. It starts off pretty good, but, like, it only gets absolutely incredible towards, like, the end. I'd say from episodes 5, 6, and onwards, every episode is, well, not better than the next, but they consistently just get so good and so much better. Like, when it's not a comedy and they're focusing just on, like, emotional beats, they do that so well, and I didn't expect that, because when it gets real, it gets, like, real and, like, for real. So, yeah, and something I also like, and this is the final thing on, like, the things I like, is what they do is, you will notice that they use a lot of footage in the show. Like, they'll reuse shots, like, 4 different times of, like, moments. But what I like is that it's not done for the sake of, like, oh, we didn't have any other footage. It's, every time they reuse a shot, it's done to recontextualize them. Like, it gives you a different feeling when you watch those scenes each different time that they're used. Because it's meant to represent something different, you know? And I think that is really cool. Like, you might see a scene and you're like, oh, this is so sweet. This is so sweet when you see it. But then when they reuse that scene later on and give further context, you're like, oh, this is dark. Like, real dark, you know? And I think that's pretty cool. Now, on to some things that I didn't like. Most of these are nitpicky, and there's not very many because I really liked it, you know? Some of the dialogue, and this is something that I saw, like, and by saw and heard, I mean, I read it in a YouTube title, that it was described as being awkward and cringy. Yeah, I'll go ahead and say that, like, the first 2 episodes or so, not all of it, but, like, primarily the first episode, the dialogue is kind of cringy sometimes. Like, it's, like, overly hip speak, like, so hip that nobody even talks like that. Like, it's kind of like a caricature of a teen. I'm kind of over it, to be honest. Like, there's a lot of stuff that this show showed me that I was just, like, over and that I don't need to see anymore, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But, like, some of the dialogue towards the very beginning, like, it kind of stops at a certain point. It just stops being cringe. But, like, a lot of the dialogue, you're just like, this is not funny. It's not like offensive or anything. It's just like, it's not funny. At least not to me. You know, because I've heard the jokes before and like, they're funny maybe like the first 2,000 times. And after a certain point and after a couple years, you know, you're kind of over it, you know? You're kind of just over it. I wish they had explored the tribes more, because something I will say is there are like tribes that hold kind of no weight throughout the entire series. Like they build them up at the beginning to be like, okay, this section is designated to these people, and then this people, and then those people. And I wish they had been highlighted more. Like, there's a couple tribes, and by a couple, I mean like 1, 2, like around 2 or 3 out of like a couple. Like I forget how many there are, but like maybe like 2 or 3 of them are actually highlighted and are given their own time to like understand what they're about. And I think maybe in season 2, there would have been more, more exploration of the tribes, maybe even some new tribes, and I will say this, there's a lot of plot threads. There's a lot of things brought up that are not brought up again. They're not like major like things, but like after you finish the show and you're starting to evaluate your thoughts, you might bring up a few little like hanging threads here and there that need to just be clipped with a nice pair of scissors. But like, they're not major. They're not like giant plot holes or whatever. They're not like big plot holes like that. It's just like minuscule things, like very, very minuscule things that go unanswered. But you know, one thing I will say is, Josh goes through a transformation. This is what I meant when I say a light spoiler, and this is just for me. And I'm gonna say this because I don't know that anybody else will feel this way. I don't know. This is just how I felt. Josh was a cool character. Josh fell apart. Josh, the main character, he kind of falls apart as the show progresses, because in the very first episode, he's shown to be like cool and kind of confident. You know, he has those quips that a lot of like shows that have this kind of humor have. He's like a quippy guy, you know. He tells a lot of jokes. And, you know, that holds up until he meets other characters. And he seems like a cool guy until you meet the people that he's like working alongside, and they're a whole lot more interesting than he is. They're a whole lot cooler than he is, and his personality kind of just like falls off the face of the earth, because like he seems like he's got it all figured out. He knows how to handle the apocalypse until he works with other people, and then suddenly he doesn't know what to do anymore, which is weird, and I don't know why that happens. But that's just how I viewed it. And you know, he lost most of his personality, and then towards the season, they kind of made me hate him, and then by the time they kind of looped back to like explain why he was like not being so nice at a certain point, I was kind of like, it was kind of too late for me. It's kind of too late for me, and you know, so by the end I was kind of like, I don't like you. I hope that you don't have a happy ending. And then like it kind of lessened once they like explained some things, kind of lessened, but I was still like, yeah, I don't really care for you anymore. So, you know. And then this is a not big spoiler, but it's still big spoiler. I'm not going to say the character's name. This character, Redacted, dies in a very random and unnecessary way. Like, it just kind of happens. Like, a throwaway character, you know, takes out Redacted, and, you know, it comes out of nowhere, and, like, it's not one of those things where it's, like, unexpected, and you're like, no! I was watching it, and as someone that liked this character, I was like, huh? Like, they showed blood on their hands, and I was like, interesting. And I was like, oh, yeah, they're probably going to get help. And then, no, they just, like, die. And then the person playing the character, when they die, it's kind of not believable. I thought it was going to be, like, one of those scenarios, like in Deadpool, where he, like, dies. And then, you know, they're like, psych, I'm not dead. I'm just doing a thing here. But no, it wasn't that. And I was just like, oh, okay. Like, I didn't understand why that character had to die. Like, it felt so unnecessary. Nobody talks about it afterwards. Like, it's mentioned in it's not even mentioned. It's shown in a flashback towards like in the very end of the episode. But like, nobody brings it up after the character dies. Like, nobody talks about it. No one's like, where's this person? Nobody says that. Nobody acknowledges it. And it's really odd. And I don't know why that happens. For literally somebody who played such a big role on the show. And then my last thing that I didn't like was there was a random point where Crushed by Tessa Violet played. And now this song used to be my jam. Like in probably like 11th, 10th grade. That used to be my jam. I don't listen to it much anymore. It's still a good song. But like, it was such an odd choice. Because like, it had nothing to do with like any kind of romance plot at all. They just started playing it and it was so weird, and they played it for like 0.5 seconds. They played like a verse of it, and then they played the chorus, and then it goes off, and it had nothing to do with anything. And I don't know. It just upset me for some reason, you know? It just upset me, and I don't know why. But anyway, some questions. All of y'all that watched Assassination Classroom, y'all get that. Y'all get it. Anyway, and this is the only question I was left with that I actually cared about acknowledging here. Why does Turbo only communicate through Franken's speech if he can talk? Like, I feel like there's like a hidden issue here. Like, there's clearly an issue with his speech that's not acknowledged at all. Like, every time he talks, blood just like comes out of his mouth, and like, just like, what? Just like he like stabbed his teeth or whatever. And like, I don't understand why that is. It's not explained, and if it was explained, maybe I wasn't paying attention, but I don't think it's explained at all. And he speaks like twice, and I don't know why he doesn't speak more. I don't know. But anyway, now we're gonna get to my unrelated stuff. And I had something that was unrelated that I completely forgot to talk about. Let me circle back. Okay, well, I don't know what I was talking about earlier. I don't know. I guess we'll never talk about that. But the unrelated things I wanted to talk about that this show showed me is that, oh, I know what it was. Okay, this show brought some pet peeves when it comes to television and media that I didn't know I had before this. And it's not like a slight against the show. It just used it, and I was actively paying attention, and it showed me, wow, these things are used way too much in TV and movies, and I am sick of it. Okay, so the first thing, teenagers talking, like, speaking like how they text, like, IDK, like saying IDK, I realize, like, it's tripping me up so much because it bothers me. Like, characters in TV shows that are teenagers that are meant to be like, oh, these kids, they spend too much time on the internet. They're even starting to talk to people like how they text. Like, what are you doing, man? Just IDK, bro. You are a coward. And like, it's weird. Like, TTYL, XOX. I hate it when teenagers do that in movies. Like, nobody does that. Like, it just, you know what it reeks of? It reeks of elderly. That's what it does. Not to be ageist or whatever, but whenever a younger person writes a younger character, we don't write ourselves to be talking like we're text-to-speech bots. It's weird. I wish we would stop doing that. I'm tired of mental metaphor scenes. And what I mean by mental metaphor scenes is like, sort of like dream sequence scenes that like aren't really happening, and you know that they're not really happening. Just like what comes to mind is Gotham. Gotham has been over for like a good hot minute now. So, you know, I forget what the context of this is, but like Jim Gordon is in like a trial with himself, and like I forget all the stuff, but it's not really happening, and all it serves is to like it serves the plot for some reason, and I'm just tired of it. Like Ash versus Evil Dead, when they were in the mental institution at that point, and you're not really sure if any of this is actually happening or not. And they're like, yeah, you killed all those people. You never lost your arm. You're ashy slashy and all that jazz. I can't stand stuff like that. It's used way too much. Like the mental thing in Moon Knight. I'm tired of the mental metaphors. I'm tired of those. And the biggest thing that this show showed me that I was so tired of seeing within specifically apocalypse themed shows, I'm tired of the burn it all down and start a new apocalypse mentality. I am so sick of it, because if there is an apocalypse in a movie or a TV show, you better believe there is somebody that wants to like blow it up and start all over because the world's horrible, we need to remake it. I'm so tired of it. It's used way too often. I'm so tired of it. Like, can we not? They did it on Fear the Walking Dead. They, what did they do it in? Oh yeah, they did it in Far Cry 5. I am so tired of that philosophy when it comes to the apocalypse in movies and TV. And I know it's not going to be the last time I see it. I know it's not. But I can we come up with something new? Please. Y'all. Please. Anyway. So, now, for my overall thoughts and opinions, wrapping it up, because this video is getting real long. Overall, I think Daybreak should have gotten a second season. First of all, more people should have watched it, and it's so good. And maybe if this video gets popular, which I hope it does become, maybe they'll give it a second season. That is a shot in the dark, and I know that that is very unlikely, so I'm not going to get my hopes up. And also, I don't have the audience for that kind of thing. But maybe if you share it with your friends and you show, hey, we should watch Daybreak. This show's good. Maybe they'll give it a second season, but everyone's kind of old now, so maybe, well, no, because one of those guys was like almost 30 when he was playing a high schooler, so I don't know. Teenagers in movies and TV are weird, so in terms of age, it's odd. I think it should have got a second season. I think the cast did a wonderful job with what they were given. There was not a single bad actor among them, and I will say that, and I mean that. But I would, overall, if I had to give it a score rating, I would go ahead and I would give it a 9 out of 10. Like, I thought it was phenomenal. I thought it was a great show. Could have had so much potential. And I think Netflix... Oh, hold on. Now that we're here, now that we're wrapping it up, I'm going to see why it got canceled. Why did Daybreak get canceled? Okay. Okay. Okay, so I'm not fine. I'm not seeing nothing. Yeah, okay, this is honestly, this is true. How did Daybreak not get a season 2 but Insatiable did? Now, I watched Insatiable. I kind of liked Insatiable. Well, ninth grade me liked Insatiable. I don't know that modern me would like Insatiable, but I know that I used to like Insatiable, and honestly, you know, wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. Okay, it got canceled. Okay, let's see. Okay. Okay, unfortunately, okay, despite Daybreak will officially... Oh, wow. So it got canceled with a quickness. Like, it got canceled with a quickness. I didn't even know that. It released in October of 2019, and just over 1 month later, it was canceled. Y'all didn't even give it a year. Y'all didn't give it a couple months to, like, pick up viewership. Like, Not every show is gonna be like Squid Game or Stranger Things, where it's just gonna jump straight out the gate and be the biggest thing on the earth. And I get it, it's a business, but like, y'all, y'all, I'm mad. I'm genuinely mad about this. So now I know for sure we won't get a season 2 because it got canceled with a quickness. Oh my god, I'm upset. I'm genuinely upset now. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna end the video now because I'm kind of upset. And also, sorry for my squeaky chair, but anyway, I'm mad. I'm gonna leave now, and I'm gonna go watch Young Justice and sulk about why the show didn't get a season 2. But you know, it should have. But you know, because Insatiable didn't Insatiable get like 3 seasons? Didn't it? Am I crazy? And I accidentally hit the stop button. I'm sorry. On the recording thing. On Audacity. Okay. Like I was saying, didn't Insatiable kind of like go off the rails at the end and like she becomes like a serial killer and she's like, I like to kill people. But anyway, I don't know. It got weird. Got weird. Fast. Weird. Anyway, I'm gonna leave now because I'm upset and my throat's starting to get all weird because I've been talking too much. So, peace!